All right. I'd like to first introduce you Kurt Busch, driver of the number 41 Haas Automation Chevrolet. Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Budweiser Jimmy John Chevrolet. Danica Patrick, driver of the number 10 GoDaddy Chevrolet. And Tony Stewart, driver of the number 14 Bass Pro Shops Mobile One Chevrolet and co-owner of Stewart-Haas Racing. And now I'd like to introduce Gene Haas, co-owner of Stewart-Haas Racing and founder of Haas Automation. And now the folks behind these folks. Daniel Knost, crew chief for the number 41 Haas Automation team and driver of Kurt Busch. Rodney Childers, crew chief for Harvick and the number 4 Budweiser Jimmy John's team. Tony Gibson, crew chief for Patrick and the number 10 GoDaddy team. And Chad Johnston, crew chief for Stewart and number 14 Bass Pro Shops Mobile One team. And rounding out our competition department, Matt Borland, Vice President of Engineering for Stewart-Haas Racing, and Greg Zippadelli, Vice President of Competition for Stewart-Haas Racing. All right, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and take our seats. Crew chiefs, we have reserved seating there for you in our audience. Drivers and Gene right back here. Well, Gene, it was late August when we made the news that Stewart-Haas Racing was growing to become a 4-car team. And now that you see it here all in one place, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's actually gone better than expected. I was at the shop today, and there's quite a bit of enthusiasm for it. I'm pleasantly surprised. A lot of people have patted me on the back and said it was a good decision, and that always feels good. So even Tony's starting to see the way. So it's all good.
And Tony, the same question does go to you, but also I think the first question on everyone's mind: how are you feeling?
I feel great. It's I'm excited. I'm counting down days to get to Daytona, so excited to be here. Feeling a lot better every day, and like Gene said, I mean, I think the fact the environment's so great at the shop right now. Everybody's so excited, and there's been a lot going on, like Gene mentioned, to get where we are, and we're on schedule. So that's a great thing, and just like I said, seeing everybody so excited, I think that takes away all the stuff going on the physical side and makes us really excited to get started again.
All right, and Danica Patrick, you're now the second most tenured driver at Stewart-Haas Racing. And amid a lot of change at SHR, things have remained relatively unchanged with the number 10 GoDaddy team. How helpful is that as you prepare for your sophomore season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series?
I wish all that experience would help me know, but it just doesn't. No. I think that for me, being only my second year, it's nice to have things consistent. It helps us be able to build on last year. At the end of the day, I have the most amount to learn. And I'd say it almost feels like another rookie season, having Kevin and Kurt and all the new people, just a bigger team. It almost feels kind of like I'm a rookie again, and I have a lot of people that I can learn from. But, the GoDaddy 10 stable is the same, so that helps.
And Kevin, after spending your entire NASCAR Sprint Cup Series career just racing, how has the transition been to Stewart-Haas Racing?
It's been a lot of fun for me. I think hearing Gene talk about the enthusiasm in the shop, it's really contagious at this point, to tell you the truth, just for the fact that you can walk through the shop and everybody is so excited to with all the change and new drivers and things that are going on. I think we've had 3 really good tests, and everything has gone really smooth. So excited to be in the have already been in the car, but to get to the racetrack and start racing.
And Kurt Busch is another new face here at Stewart-Haas Racing. 2 tests already under your belt, Kurt. What are your expectations for this year?
Well, it's just a matter of pacing ourselves and building on the number 41 Haas Automation Chevy to the point to where we are chase caliper and ready to attack those final 10 races as a championship team. But we have to build this team up and get all of our foundations set. And I can't thank Gene and Tony enough for this opportunity to be part of a championship caliber team and to build on that foundation.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the floor to questions. The fine folks with Charlotte Motor Speedway do have mics. If, again, you can state your name and affiliation, just raise that hand so that they can find you. We'll start over here with Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. I was interested in knowing if the clash of egos and the infighting and the backbiting that everybody seems to think is going to happen in the team, if that's actually taken place yet, or if that's something you guys are going to get started on later.
Yeah, I mean, don't you see the bruises already? I mean, no, I think it's something that what everybody is overlooking is the fact that we got 4 alpha drivers here that have alpha personalities. The great thing is we all, I think, have the advantage of understanding each other and having similar personalities like this. I think everybody, what their first thought is probably the opposite of what the reality of it is. We're a great support system for each other. Every one of us up here have had our battles at some time, either with each other or with you guys or whatever the group is that the battle's been with, but we all understand and can relate. So every one of us up here can understand what somebody else is going through and can be a great support system. So that's what teams are about, is support. So I think when the majority of you guys are leaning on that angle of it's got great opportunity to be a disaster, we look at it as a great opportunity to be a huge positive and a great match for 4 great personalities and 4 great drivers to work really hard together and that can understand and relate to each other. So I think that'll make us a stronger team because of that.
Lewis, then we'll go to Bob.
Louis Frank of Reuters. Tony, more importantly, how's Greg Zeppedelli doing? Does he have more gray hair from this expansion, or?
Just saw him. He was just up here a second ago.
Yeah.
You guys took pictures of him. Well, you can tell I'm not healed 100% because he's still sticking to his guns that as soon as I get healed 100%, he's going to kill me. But looking at him, I mean, he's got less gray hair than I do, so you're asking the wrong guy whether he's got gray hair. But, that's the great thing about that group sitting over there. I mean, I can look over and it gives us a lot of comfort sitting here to see all of them sitting real close to each other like that and knowing that that's the brain trust of what's going on. So, it's great leaders like Greg and Matt and the crew chiefs. They've done a great job this winter, and there's been a lot that's had to go on, and I don't know that I would have trusted anybody any more than Zippy and Matt to do what they've done to get everything ready to go for the season.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. For Tony, can you just update us on your therapy as far as it's still on schedule, and are you still scheduled to get approved to race the week that the track opens up at Daytona?
Yeah, read the internet once in a while. You'll see I got released a couple days ago. It was on the internet everywhere. It's a great thing. I'll show you how to use your computer later. But everything's going well. Honestly, we are on schedule. Therapy's going great. We're very confident we're over the hump of the hard part. There's still a lot of work to do, but feeling good, and obviously you can tell by my attitude that I'm feeling much better. So I'm excited to go. We're ready to go.
Okay, we'll go with George.
Yeah, George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel. Danica, you talked about the rookie season, kind of the feel to it. Can you elaborate on that, on your thoughts? And everybody brings up the word pressure, but do you feel, is that a word that's kind of in your vocabulary at this point?
There's always pressure, for sure. Pressure that I put on myself, pressure of what I think I can do and know I can do. Pressure from wanting to perform for my team that works hard and for my sponsors that commit a lot. But the rookie part of it is just that, Kurt and Kevin obviously are new to the team, and they've been very helpful already. And And having Tony be out of the car for a half a year, he was able to help in different ways after he got hurt, but not being in the car was different in and of itself. And we just have a lot of new people. So I mean, I think that's why it feels like that. I feel like I have so much to learn from these guys, and so little experience compared to them. So it's something I really look forward to.
Okay, we'll go with Tom, then Claire, Jetta, and back over here to Ron.
Hi, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. For Gene. Gene, it seems like you're playing a more visible role in the team. Are you doing the same thing you've always done, or have you decided to maybe be a little bit more involved in day-to-day, and if so, why?
Well, I've always been actively involved in NASCAR. Started it like 2001, 2002. And so I was very active. But my way of doing things is typically to find people that understand the sport, or what I'm trying to accomplish, and understand the sport as good as I do or better, and let them do their job. And I feel like the people that run Haas or Stewart-Haas Racing are very competent at what they do, and I really couldn't add much to it. But as far as some of the big decisions, I'm certainly involved in all those. And my goal is to have a championship team going forward, and that's kind of been my goal from the beginning. So in that regard, I'm accomplishing what I want to do. Do I sit there and sign the checks and balance the checkbooks and all that other stuff? No, I don't do it. I don't do that. But there's so many good people out there, and if you give them a chance to do what you want them to do, they usually do a very, very good job.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. For Kurt, what have you learned about Gene, working with him, albeit in this short time, and about the rest of the team and the operation at Stewart-Haas?
Well, just his commitment to the sport, whether it's been recognized in the past or like now, the vision or the view is that he's coming to the forefront. But him and Tony partnered years ago on this adventure, and it produced a championship in such a short amount of time that it makes you look at how things came together, and it's about the people. And that's where Gene has given me this unique opportunity to be competitive alongside Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick, Danica Patrick. Our team, the competitive desire within us all is what Gene's trying to do, is bring it out and harness it all and to produce results for the people that are on that shop floor. And those people are there preparing the cars with a new crew chief, with Daniel Knost, and the leadership group that's there. It's such an exciting time within the building to see all the hard work going into it. It's what makes the anticipation of going to the track that much more exciting heading into this season than years past.
Jennifer, AP, I have a question and then a follow-up for Gene. Tony, I do read the internet, and I saw that Gene would like to start a Formula One team possibly. Is that Gene only, or is that something that you would be involved in, and Zippy needs to start building more onto the shop?
Keep in mind, Zippy's still trying to figure out ways to kill me where you guys won't know about it. So this is actually Gene's project. It's pretty exciting. I think for us it's exciting because there's things that down the road could benefit our Cup program as well by Gene's involvement if he were to acquire a Formula One team. So I'm excited for Gene. I think it's a great opportunity. It's not something that you can just go make the decision and go do. There's a lot of processes that I've learned through Gene of how this all works, and I think Gene's had the ability to build a championship caliber team in NASCAR, and now he's ambitious to expand on that and go to a worldwide scenario. So we're supportive of it. I'm going to be busy enough just trying to keep Zippy happy, so I'll stay on the Cup side. But I think all of us are real supportive of his aspirations to be in Formula One, and I think it's something that Gene's the kind of person that when he puts his mind to doing something, he can make it happen, and he stays focused on it. So he's done that with the Cup side, he's done that with Haas Automation, and it's going to be exciting to watch him do the same thing in Formula One now, hopefully.
If I could follow up, Gene, One, why do you want to do that? And is this something that you think you have a realistic shot at? And if you did get a team, would you do that here in the States?
Well, applying for the Formula One license is a multi-step process, and I've had interest in it for a number of years. I think it's an incredibly difficult challenge. It's nothing to be taken lightly. It's filled with peril, and there's a million ways to fail. So, for all those reasons, this is why you do it, is to see if this is something you can do. I've learned a lot in NASCAR. Obviously, we've taken a lot of steps and taken some steps back, but partnering with Tony was certainly a step forward. So those things that we've learned, I think, would be something that we maybe could apply in Formula One, the way we do business, and focus on the racing and getting a car to the track and being able to compete in that forum. I have a tremendous amount of respect for NASCAR racing, and the same thing with Formula One. It's a sport that has a legacy behind it, much like NASCAR or Indianapolis 500 racing. So I respect that, and it's a complex process, trying to do that one step at a time. And I think it would be a great honor as an American to participate in that type of racing. And it also has a good business aspect of it too. I think it kind of has a lot of features that would fall in line with what we've accomplished here at Stewart-Haas Racing. So, those reasons are the reasons to do it. It's certainly an enormous challenge and something that cannot be taken lightly, but neither can NASCAR racing. And we've managed to succeed there, and it's a challenge. That's the fun part of life. If you don't try, you won't fail.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions before going to our breakout session. Ron, and then Mike Massaro.
Ron the Masters, ONMC. This is for Tony. As a driver who is also an owner, to my knowledge, you've never had a 4-car team, at least in NASCAR. Is there something about adding one more car that makes that a different approach for you?
I don't think so from my standpoint. I mean, the challenge has been for Greg and Matt and the new crew chiefs coming in, adding more staff, changing the existing building and the addition in the lot next door to us of getting it ready. That's been the biggest challenge for me. I've had a different challenge this fall versus what those guys have gone through. So, I think it was pretty easy when Gene had the vision to add the 4th team. To carry this forward, and it was a matter of just figuring out logistics of, okay, how do we take this and apply it and make it work and make it happen. So, like I said, I've never been more proud of our organization than what those guys have done this winter. Like I said, it's been the most work has been for Greg and Matt, trying to get the people and get everybody settled in and organized and get the equipment. And the crew chiefs have done an awesome job of working together. It's probably the most unity I've seen in our shop from the time I walked in the door the first time. So it's an exciting time for us. I mean, it's a big undertaking. I mean, our shop and our organization has went 2 years where we've had 2 consecutive years where we've had to add to the existing program and add a car to it. So luckily we're at the stage where NASCAR says we can't do any more. I'm happy to go into next winter not knowing that we're not going to be adding any more, as I'm sure the whole organization is. But we're excited. I mean, when you like I said, sitting up here today and sitting up here with these 3 and seeing the crew chiefs and Greg and Matt down there, it's an exciting time for our organization. I think we're probably the most pumped up we've ever been. I mean, I'm excited to work with these guys and the new crew chiefs here, and I think we got a lot of great things to come this year. I really feel like this is an organization that people have to watch out for this year.
This question's for all 4 drivers. It seems like this season is going to be, there's going to be quite a few different things when it comes to the competition. We've already heard about the changes in the qualifying format. And there's also a lot of speculation on how the chase might change. We'll hear about that for in definite terms later this week. But I want to get your thoughts, each of you, on what you think about the proposed changes to the chase.
Tony, why don't you go?
I'm excited. I'm real excited about qualifying, and I think it's something that I know as a we talked about the Formula One program. That's what I watch. I never watch the race. I watch the qualifying. So I know that there's excitement that's going to be added to that for us for sure. We know what the proposed changes are to the chase. It's the great thing is we have a sport that can make changes and adapt to what the fans like and what's in the best interest of the sport. NASCAR does a really good job of sitting down and analyzing and working with the focus groups, with the fans, trying to figure out how can we make changes to the sport to accommodate what they're looking for. So I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I think it's something that if it makes the fans that much more excited about it, it's something for us to be excited about as well. And the great thing is no matter what they do, it's going to be the same for everybody. So everybody knows going into the season what you have to do to accomplish the goal at the end of the year, and it's our jobs as teams to make it happen. So I think it's an exciting time for us, and I'm excited that NASCAR is thinking outside the box. I mean, they don't sit on their hands and say what we've got's good enough. They're always trying to figure out how to make it better. And the qualifying format is a perfect example, and what they're talking about doing for the chase is a great example as well. So it's exciting for us as drivers to know that we got a sanctioning body that is forward thinking and thinking outside the box and not scared to make changes.
Danica.
What else is there to say? I feel like you said it all. I mean, NASCAR does do a great job of adapting and changing and keeping things exciting. At the end of the day, it's all about our fans, and it's getting people to watch so that our sponsors are happy, that people are watching on TV, millions and millions of people. That's what drives the sport. So I'm proud to be in a series that pays attention to that and cares about our fans. I hope to be in a position to be completely understanding the new chase system and participating in it. But from a spectator standpoint, let's say last year, it would be exciting going into the last race, not knowing how it's going to turn out and having so much on the line between a few drivers. So if it makes people watch, then it's serving its purpose, and that's what we need to do as a series.
I think for me, my qualifying record has been really stellar, so having more opportunity to make a few more laps to qualify was probably a good thing. So I think that the qualifying is great. I think as you go through I like the knockout stuff. I'm still sitting on the fence about having
not literally knockout. That's not what they meant.
Only if necessary.
No. I know you like fighting, but
yeah.
That's not what they meant. They're just
if we're fighting, I'm kicking you in the leg.
Yeah. It's like Karate Kid all over again. Just sweep the leg and it's all over.
Sweep the leg. That's right. But I think. Thanks for clarifying that, though. I appreciate it. I think that the knockout format in the chase is going to be fun. Still kind of on the fence about the one and done race, but I don't really know if that's the rule or not. So we'll find out.
It seems like NASCAR is getting more aggressive with the changes over the years. I mean, in 2004, the chase was implemented, and with the thought of trying to create a playoff format or an atmosphere that is similar to other types of sports that are mainstream. And NASCAR is mainstream. Do we need to be so influenced by our outside media or the fans? Yes and no. There still has to be the integrity of what the NASCAR Foundation and what has brought us to this level and how we've arrived here. I mean, the modern era is considered to have started in the 70s, but we have to find out what it is that will make the benefit for everybody. So you have long-term owners such as Hendrick in this sport and Gibbs and Roush. You've got the new owners coming in like a Ron Devine at Burger King Racing and all that. You have to make it competitive for them, but still make it hard on them. But I do like the fact of what we are doing and what we're seeing is we're mixing it up and seeing how the cream will rise to the top. And eventually all the good teams and the stronger teams will rise back up to the top. But it's going to create a lot of question and a lot of intrigue and a lot of excitement in the beginning part of the year. And then we'll see how the chase will unfold with whatever rules they look to implement in. But to me, it's about comparing to other big-time sports to make it easier for our fans to enjoy and quickly understand a point system where it's just 1 point differential per car. So a lot of shaking it up, but we'll see how it pans out. At the end of the day, the strong teams will prevail, and that's what Stewart-Haas Racing needs to do, is understand this system and put ourselves in position to do well.
Excellent. And not on stage here, but available to everyone in our breakout session afterward is Tony Stewart Racing's Steve Kinzer. I think everybody in this room probably knows who Steve is and what he's about. In case you don't, he is a 20-time World of Outlaws STP Sprint Car Series champion. And this is his last year on the tour. So if you can think back to Richard Petty's retirement tour, this is right along those lines, and Steve will be with us. And I encourage all of you to take advantage of this time. Steve is also the king, and it's going to be a great opportunity. He's here before he embarks on yet another World of Outlaw tour. So I'll turn it over now to Scott Cooper. He's got a couple items for you guys. Again, thank you very much for your time. Certainly appreciate it, and we'll see you next door in a couple minutes.
All right. On behalf of Charlotte Motor Speedway, Gene, congratulations on the new lineup this year. We certainly wish you the best of luck. Tony, it's good to see you back, and nice to see the new faces here, Kevin, Kurt. We know you guys are going to have a great season with Stewart-Haas Racing. And Steve, to you too, we're looking forward to you capping your career at the dirt track with our World of Outlaws World Finals back at Charlotte Motor Speedway this November. At this time, I'd like to invite all of you to exit to stage right, and Wendy and her team will get you in place in our breakout interview session. I'd like to ask our media members to stay seated for just a moment. I'm going to give you a couple of quick schedule notes and then some instructions on how our breakout sessions will work. First, later today, our next program in this room will be Levine Family Racing and JTG Doherty Racing, and we will be back in this room with their presentations at 3:15. This evening, you'll note on your schedule cards, we've got a fun night